Hey everybody, Jennifer Roberts here, Podqueen. And I've had different people write in and tell me things that they want me to talk about. So we've hit some of those topics. And today I want to talk about maintaining your life in God when you have small children around. And this is a topic that's near and dear to my heart because it has been a journey for me to find God in the midst of chaos. And you know, I've shared before, I was in missions for 10 years. My husband and I were there together, and we did it without children, and then we had our oldest daughter, Sydney, was born in Budapest, and we were there for a little bit with her. And when we moved here to Kansas City and joined staff at the International House of Prayer, I didn't know what to do anymore. I didn't understand how to maneuver my heart with God, how to maneuver being part of ministry, and I began to honestly just feel sorry for myself. I spent a lot of time being jealous of Dwayne, being jealous of his life. I imagined that his life was easier than mine. And I started to get mad at God. I started to say things to God like, why did you put these gifts in me if I was never going to be able to use them? Why do you do this to women? And I had these angry thoughts, this wrestle with the Lord about, you know, was it fair that I was created a woman? Was it fair that I have children? Was it fair that God made me like to preach and do that kind of stuff, but yet now I was home with children? Was that fair? And I had to really wrestle with the Lord and answer those questions. And I'm so glad I did. I'm so glad I wrestled and came to some conclusions, and I'm still coming to some conclusions. I don't think I have this thing all wrapped up. But I decided that what wasn't an option was to be bitter. I wasn't going to end up bitter. I wasn't going to disconnect from the Lord. I was going to learn to find Him in the midst of my circumstances. And one particular vision I had helped me. I was in the throes of my self-pity. This is probably 10 years ago. So I only had Sydney and Chloe at the time. Elijah wasn't born. And I'm at a meeting and I'm feeling sorry for myself. I'm remembering the things I used to be able to do, the freedom I used to have, and I'm sitting there going, oh my gosh, poor me. I don't know if any of you feel sorry for yourself, but I have it on occasion. It's very rare. Anyway, so I'm feeling sorry for myself, and I immediately kind of had this vision or mind's eye picture or whatever we want to call it. And in it, I'm getting ready to run a race. And there's lanes all around me. It's like the Olympics kind of deal. I'm getting ready to run in a lane. And beside me, you know, there's big dogs all around me. We got the director of the House of Prayer, Mike Bickle's there, Alan Hood, my husband, you know, Misty Edwards. Different people are on these lanes. And I'm looking like, oh my gosh, I'm not going to win this race. I can't do this. I was comparing myself to them, to their pace, to their gifts, to their speed, and I'm looking at me going, I can't do it. I just can't do it. Just then, a tunnel formed over my lane, and I saw that Jesus was at the end of my lane, and He was cheering me on. And He was saying, run, Jennifer, run. And He was cheering me on like you cheer on a child when they're learning to walk, like it's a big deal. And I realized I'm not in competition with these people. My race is simply my race. It's the race marked out for me. It's Hebrews 12. And so I've been doing it wrong. I've been competing with my brothers and sisters in Christ, acting like they had the good end and I had the bad end, and oh my. And so I see that Jesus is at the end of the lane and He's cheering me on, run, run. And I began to run, and I felt this pleasure as I'm running towards Him. Because you see, my race is to run towards Jesus all the days of my life. In its simplest form, my calling is to run after Jesus, period. That will never change about me. It doesn't change. My circumstances may change. Life could get busier. It could get slower. I could have kids at home. I could not have kids at home. My calling is to be a lover of Jesus. That's it. So I'm running my race. I'm running. I'm excited. Feels good. He's there. And the Lord kept saying, running is winning. Running is winning. I was like, wow, amazing. All I had to do was move. Just not quit, not give up, not shrink back, not give in to condemnation, not give in to accusation, to keep running towards Jesus. That was what I was supposed to do. So cool, I'm doing it. So that happens. Now, again, same scene happens before me. Everyone's there again. I have the same response. Oh no, I can't beat Mike. I can't beat Misty and Dwayne and Alan. Feeling sorry for myself. Immediately again, the tunnel forms over my lane. But this time, I've got a child on my hip. I'm holding one by the hand. I have a book bag strapped across me this way. I have a diaper bag this way, and I have a stroller wrapped around my ankle. And the Lord is looking at me and he's saying, running, run. So a tunnel forms on my lane. I'm looking at him. I'm like, ah. And he said, run, Jennifer, run. And I said, look at me. I'm going to be slow. And Jesus said to me, I know, but it's going to make you strong. And I realized I was missing opportunities all around by trying to wish my circumstances away. God was trying to form strength in me through my kids, through my mundane life. He was trying to form strength in me so that I would continue to run. So he is saying to me, run. Running is winning. Running is winning. And I'm like, I'm going to be slow. I know, Jennifer, you will be slow. It's going to make you strong. And I began to run. And I remember the feeling of, it was barely a run. It was more of an awkward upward crawl. It was ugly. It was pitiful. And he kept saying, running is winning. And I remember just feeling like, wow, that is profound. All I have to do is move towards the heart of Jesus. That's incredible. And I have thought about that vision so many times. It has encouraged me so many times that God wants me as I am. He wants me right now. He wants me in this season of my life. Now, I went on to have another child. The pace of my life picked up. I mean, some people have 10 kids. Some people have 1. It seems like whatever you have in your plate is you're full to your capacity. That's how it feels to me. And so I decided, okay, what can I do right now in this season of my life? I can't go to the house of prayer 50 hours a week. I can't. I'm not going to put my kids in daycare to do that. Some women work. They have to find Jesus too. I mean, God is user-friendly. He wants to come into our daily life, be a part of our daily life, and we learn to commune with him in those places. And so I started doing crazy things like, what do I have to do in my day? What's already built into my day? Okay, diapers were built into my day. Doing the dishes. We didn't have a dishwasher at that time. Hello. I do now. So vacuuming, folding laundry, different things. Now, if you're working, maybe it's, you're filling out business plans. Include them in that. You're typing on the computer. I don't know what you do at work. You're doing stuff. Whatever that is, do it with all your heart as unto the Lord, knowing you'll receive a reward. So I began to participate with God in my daily life. And so I'm doing the dishes, and I began to learn to turn that into a time of prayer. As I'm rinsing the dishes off, I'm scrubbing it off, I'm going, God, wash me. Wash me from the cares of the day. Let me not be anxious today. Let me find you. And I'm doing the dishes and I'm praying and I'm turning it into prayer. And so it took me, 10, 15 minutes to do the dishes. I just prayed 10 or 15 minutes. And then, I'm going on with my day and I'm folding laundry. And I'm washing it, I'm folding it, and I'm beginning to talk to the Lord when I'm doing those normal things, those mundane activities. See, I didn't have it set up for me to succeed because my idea of success was a long chunk of time at one time. I didn't have that anymore. A lot of people don't have that. I used to have that, but I didn't have that anymore in this season of life that I was in when my kids were young. So I had to set myself up for success. I had to take little bites during the day. 10-minute chunks of where I would, okay, I'm going to focus now. I remember I memorized a verse, one verse. It was Psalm 139, verse 1. That's where I started. Oh Lord, you have searched me and you've known me. That was it. I meditated on that one verse for a month. I began to think about it all day long. I began to take my thoughts captive and direct them to Jesus instead of my thoughts of self-pity or my thoughts of comparison or my thoughts of I'm missing out. Oh my gosh, I'm not on anyone's radar. I stopped thinking those thoughts and began to think, wait a second, God knows me. Who cares who else knows me? I am not alone. I may be hidden from the sight of man, but I am not hidden from the sight of God. And I began to meditate on that verse, that Psalm 139. I began to meditate on it. And now, if it had been 5 years previous, I would have like, loser, lame, hardly doing anything. But that was what I could do at the time. That was wholehearted. And so we need to get the guilt and the condemnation off us. As young moms in particular, life is hard. Sometimes your very life feels like a fast. You're like, I'm fasting my life. I'm fasting my sleep. I'm fasting when I choose to eat, when you get a shower, all of that. And so I just want you to know God sees that. And if you can posture your heart to participate with it, instead of being hit by your circumstances, learn to roll with your circumstances and own them and turn it into prayer, turn it into communion with God, you will be successful. Young moms, we can run with all of our heart after Jesus in every season that we're in. We just need to know that He leads those with young tenderly. God is not expecting of a young mom what He expects of Mike Bickle. It's just not what He's into. He is looking at you with eyes of compassion and tenderness, and He's counting the very movements of your heart. Sometimes your intercession is, oh God, I'm desperate for you. That's it. He counted it. It was real, it was valid, and God was moved by your act of intercession. So moms, I want to encourage you, start where you're at. Little baby steps. Just don't give up on God. Don't give up, because you need your heart alive in Jesus to succeed as a mom. You need your heart alive in Jesus because you're made for it. You begin to shrivel up on the inside if you're not connecting with Him. But know this, He loves you. He desires you. He wants you right where you are. You can do it. So that's exciting, you guys. Learn to embrace your circumstances and find Jesus in it.